I know I've spoken about nitric oxide in the past, but with COVID kind of skyrocketing around the world again, I think every little bit of something we can do to support our well-being is a really important thing to do. So I wrote some notes when I was kind of reviewing about nitric oxide. And I just want to tell you a little bit about it. I know I've talked about it before, but it bears repeating. So nitric oxide was discovered by Louis Ignarro in the 1990s, and he won the Nobel Prize in physiology for his discovery of nitric oxide and its impact on our health and longevity. If you've not heard of nitric oxide, this is different than nitrous oxide. So nitric, N-I-T-R-I-C, oxide is a molecular gas that's in our bodies, and it's produced in our arteries as well as in our sinuses. And it's a vasodilator, so it relaxes the smooth muscles of your blood vessels, your arteries primarily, and also it is a vasodilator. So a bronchodilator. So it's around for all the organs of your body. So it helps to bring a lot of blood flow as it dilates the blood vessels. Blood flow gets to different organs in your body, and it's very protective. Nitric oxide. For things like stroke and blood clots and hypertension and preventing heart attacks, things like that. So it's a really important substance in our body that we rely on all the time. And it also, besides being a vasodilator, it's also a bronchodilator. So when we breathe in through our nose, nitric oxide the gas is all within our sinuses. The chambers of our sinuses have a lot of nitric oxide in there. So when we breathe through our nose, the air we're breathing in is bathed in nitric oxide. And as it goes down into our trachea and into our bronchioles, it dilates the trachea and the bronchioles. So it helps us have good lung capacity. And not only does it dilate, but it also has antimicrobial components to it. And this is the part I want to focus on with COVID. So this is where I'm going to look at my notes. There's a new study that just came out in September by KnowBio, K-N-O-W, if you want to look it up, KnowBio. It's a biotech research place in North Carolina, and they've been studying nitric oxide for a long time. And they did a trial where they put COVID cells, and compared it with nitric oxide and compared it to petri dishes with no nitric oxide. I guess petri dishes. I'm making that up. I don't know exactly how the study was done, but they found that 99% was in the cells that had nitric oxide, and a 99% efficacy rate of killing the COVID. So that's pretty darn powerful. It's not obviously been done in any human studies yet, but it's a very powerful beginning. So the results show that it disrupted the virus's ability to attach to cell receptor sites. It slowed the RNA production of the COVID cells, and it inhibited release from the host cell, from releasing COVID to other cells. So those are some really good reasons to learn how to breathe through our nose, right? So if it does prove that nitric oxide in humans has as profound of an impact on COVID, then we should really be focusing on breathing through our nose. And even if it doesn't, there's many, many positive effects of using nitric oxide for other viruses in the body to help us with keeping ourselves healthy. So lastly, I just want to say a couple other little studies I read about. In 1999, the FDA approved inhaling nitric oxide for pulmonary hypertension in newborns. And it has saved 25,000 baby lives a year. So nitric oxide is a pretty powerful treatment. And there's also 2 studies going on that the results won't be in for a long time, but like not till 2022. But there's a small study of 470 healthcare workers. Sorry, I hear that echo too. There. I think somebody just had their mute button off. So hopefully I fixed that. Thanks for the heads up that there's an echo. There's a study with 470 healthcare workers who are taking care of COVID patients, and they are inhaling nitric oxide at the beginning of their shift and inhaling nitric oxide at the end of their shift. And they're in a study right now, which the results are not in yet, to see if inhaling nitric oxide is protective of them from not contracting COVID from their patients. And then there's another study going on with ventilated patients who have COVID being treated with nitric oxide to see if it's having any impact on their outcome as well. So there's a lot out there being studied right now in nitric oxide that it looks promising. So even though we don't know the results, we can impact our own well-being today easily, free, no medication required, no fancy tricks required. All it requires is learning how to breathe through our nose. So most of us are habituated mouth breathers. We tend to breathe, most of the time, a lot of us are breathing through our mouths. We tend to be hyperventilators where we have shallow mouth breathing and a lazy diaphragm. And this is just our standard way of breathing. And the more we can train ourselves to breathe through our nose, the better off our health will be, not just related to COVID, but in so many ways. This is a healthy way to breathe. So sometimes the challenge of breathing through your nose comes from habit, not even from anything difficult like a deviated septum or you're congested, which of course, when you have challenges in your sinuses, it makes nose breathing more difficult. But even just the habit of breathing through your mouth is something that we can work with. So as much as you can in your practice today, see what it feels like to breathe in through your nose. And a way to help you try to remember that is to just gently keep your lips closed. The more you just kind of have your mouth closed, the less likely you'll sneak into a bad habit of breathing through your mouth. And of course, when you're training a breathing habit, it's very difficult. This is something it's probably our most entrained pattern in our body is breathing. So be gentle with yourself as well if you're starting to develop new habits. If you feel panicky or nervous at any time because of trying to breathe through your nose, just stop and take a few breaths through your mouth and then start again. So, you don't want to overwhelm your system, but if you're able to stay breathing through your nose, that is awesome. So let me just talk a little bit about the exhale. Humming through your exhale also stimulates the movement of nitric oxide in the chambers of your sinuses. So even though typically we want to focus, the most important thing is breathing in through our nose, breathing out through a hum will keep things moving through your sinuses really well. And the other thing that happens when you hum through your exhales, usually you hum with your mouth closed, right? And it helps you lengthen your exhale, which will help you strengthen your diaphragm. And it also increases the parasympathetic nervous system, which is the restful, like the opposite of the fight or flight, the more rejuvenating, restful part of your nervous system is stimulated through long, steady exhales. So our anxiety levels, our stress levels, all these things play together. So let's try to focus in our practice today, breathing through the nose, both the inhale and the exhale, and play around. The beautiful thing about being alone in your yoga practice is, sometimes it's embarrassing when you're in a yoga class to make sound. You're like, should I hum? No, that's weird. I'm going to make noise and everybody's going to make fun of me, or I'm going to be self-conscious. So now, because you're by yourself, you don't have to worry about that at all. And you can just hum as you exhale. And humming can come in a lot of different tonal variations. You can hum high, you can hum low, you can start high and drop low. There's lots of ways that you can hum. So I really encourage you to try and experiment with what it might feel like to breathe in through your nose, to breathe out through your nose, and experiment with a little humming through your nose as you exhale through our practice today. Okay, so, and once again, be kind to yourself, be gentle with yourself. If you're learning new habits, it can be very stressful. So anytime you need to revert and breathe through your mouth, go ahead and you're not failing if you breathe through your mouth. There's no test at the end. You're just trying to improve your body's capacity for health. So let's go ahead, and it's going to be hard for me to mirror this to you because talking, I'm obviously breathing through my mouth a lot more when I'm speaking. So I won't be a good example as we're practicing. So you know how to breathe through your nose, okay? All right, so let's go ahead and sit up straight and tall and take a moment to just settle into the body. Drop some weight down into your lower body. Feel your legs soften, a sense of roots in your pelvis. Close your eyes and take some deep breaths in through your nose. See what you can do to relax as much as you can. Relax the shoulders. Another piece of this breathing pattern is often using the accessory muscles of breathing, your neck muscles, your shoulder muscles. So let's try to soften through your neck and shoulders, the base of your skull. Relax through your jaw and through your tongue. See if you can rest in your skull bones and your eyes. Find a sense of buoyancy in your spine and openness across your chest. And as you stay with your nasal breathing, you can just gently have your lips touch, maybe a teeny smile, maybe not, just be comfortable. Your teeth can touch, your teeth don't have to touch. Your tongue can be soft, your upper and lower palate and your teeth can be soft. And as you breathe in through your nose, visualize the chambers of your sinuses. It's not just a big open room, right? It's cavernous. There's a lot of caverns for a reason, to increase the surface area, to help your breath be bathed so it gets warmer. Mucus all through your sinuses traps pollen and pollutants. These deep caverns have lots of nitric oxide to bathe your breath. So imagine like you have walked into a cave, if you've been in a cave before, with all the rooms and stalagmites and stalactites. Let's just visualize these big cavernous spaces of our sinuses. And let yourself travel that breath from the sinuses into the trachea and bronchioles, knowing there's ease and space, that the dilating effect of this nitrous oxide is opening your capacity to breathe. So sense that as you're inhaling through your nose. Notice your diaphragm and how it works for you. See if you can let the diaphragm be the powerhouse of your breath. Relax all the other muscles, your neck, your shoulders. And then experiment with some humming. I'm going to have you do it in a few different ways. So first, just find your tone that naturally comes. On your exhale, you can let a high or a middle or a low tone come out. You can stretch the exhale out a little bit. Let the diaphragm work. Feel that this is a little training for the diaphragm. You don't want to stress yourself out, so just go into a place of you're stretching your comfort zone a little bit, but not too much. Inhaling through the nose, exhaling through the nose, finding that hum vibration. Feel the vibration. Where do you feel the vibration in your body? Do you feel it in your chest, in your head, in your sinuses? Is it difficult to stay with this? And then we're going to try another. You don't have to do this throughout our practice today, but just for now, Once you do this, you won't be able to hear me very well, so just listen for a moment. We're gonna, those little flaps on the front side of your ears, we're gonna close off your earlids, not your eyelids, but your earlids, and gently press them onto your ears to close your hearing off a little bit. And we're gonna breathe out bee buzzing breath. So, and listen to the sound inside your own skull as you exhale, breathing in through the nose, out through the nose. A couple rounds of this. And if you can hear me, you can go ahead and release your hands now from your ears. Deep breath in, deep breath out through your nose. Let's place our hands together at our heart and offer an intention to stay with this breath pattern as much as possible. Commit in your practice today to breathing through your nose. Hopefully you're not all congested. Let's commit to taking care of ourselves, doing the small little things we can do to increase our health and longevity. And let's release the hands and come onto your back. So as you find your way onto your back, stretch out through your spine. Take some deep breaths here, lengthen through your body. Stretch out your limbs like a starfish. Wiggle your toes, roll out through your wrists. Wake up your extremities. Maybe you want to squeeze, maybe you want to move. And then bring the knees into the chest and rock a little bit from side to side. Already, have you forgotten to breathe through your nose? So see if you can just keep that on the burner as much as possible. Okay, let's open the knees away, bring them back in, just get the hips to warm up a little bit. And put the feet onto the ground and windshield wiper your knees off to one side and then to the other. Stretch the opposite arm out, maybe turn your head and just find some movement in the sides of your body. Feel the bottom rib cage open. And then let's roll right over onto our side and come up onto your hands and your knees. Start moving through some cat-cows. So as you move the spine, try to pay attention that we're staying with the nasal breathing as much as possible. So see what it feels like. Even if your movement ends and you're still breathing, try not to cut your breath short on either the inhale or the exhale. Feel free at any time to hum your exhales if that feels nice for training the diaphragm. How's the movement of your spine feeling? Feel free to move things around any way you want to move. So you can swirl through your neck and your shoulders. Move around any way you want to move around. Your head spinning, your shoulders, your hips. And stretch back towards child's pose. Take your arms out in front of you. Let's walk the hands over to the left side. Open the right ribs up to relax your head down, soften. Deep breath in and away. Let's walk over to the other side. Heading over to the right, opening up the bottom rib cage. Feel all those muscles between our ribs open and find some space. Breathing through your nose. and then come back to center. Come up onto all fours again. Take a deep breath in. Let your belly relax. Exhale through your nose if you can. Hum the breath out and feel the diaphragm get a little engaged. Deep breath in, belly releases. Draw it in on the exhales. When you're ready, turn this up into a dog pose. Stretch out through the feet, stretch out through the hands. Relax the muscles in your face, relax the base of the skull. All those little hidden pockets where we tend to hold tension in our traps and around our neck are often related to the way we breathe. So see what it feels like to let the accessory muscles of your breath be soft and focus more on the diaphragm doing the work. Inhaling through the nose, see what a hum might feel like here. Is the humming training your diaphragm for a little bit more strength? Be so subtle in this. We're not doing push-ups. Our diaphragm is super duper strong. You do not have to feel like you're lifting weights with your diaphragm. It works hard enough for you all day. Let's just see if we can pay attention and give the task to the diaphragm for your breath. Lazy diaphragms are really common with mouth breathing. Find your breath. Spread out your feet. Feel free to move around. You can bend your knees. You can sway. You can do any kind of movement that's right for you. Feel the yielding. Give yourself over to the earth. Finding the breath. And then walk your feet forward. Come into Uttanasana. Fold. Bend your knees as much as you want. Relax your neck and shoulders. Take a deep breath in for a halfway lift, breathing through your nose if you can. Exhale, breathing out through your nose if you can. Maybe a hum here and there. Experiment. Play with your breath. Notice your breath. Inhale, reaching the arms up to the sky. Notice if coming upright, not being in an inversion, makes it easier for you to breathe in. If your sinuses open a little bit more when your head's not below your heart. So pause here for a moment in Tadasana. Enjoy the open chambers, hopefully, of your sinuses. Take a deep breath in. Lift your arms up overhead. Cactus, open the arms and stretch open the chest. And then release your hands down. Interlace your hands behind your back. Open the chest one more time. Find your breath, bend your knees, and come forward. Lift your arms away from the spine. Relax your neck. Keep breathing through your nose if you can. Inhale for a halfway lift. Hold the tops of your thighs. Stretch your feet. Exhale and melt back down. Step your left foot back. Right foot comes forward. Lunge on this side. Extend through the hip flexors. Remember, your psoas muscle and your diaphragm speak to each other really well. So as you open up the hip flexors on that back leg, let's go ahead and rise up. Keep your hands on your hips for a moment. See if you can sense into stretching open the psoas, that muscle on the front side of your pelvis. Take a deep breath. Reach your left arm up in the air and just a little bit over. Keep your other hand on your thigh to help balance you. Are you still able to breathe through your nose? Find the breath. Breathing out through your nose if you can. Don't worry if you do some mouth breathing in there. Find your breath. Both arms coming up to the sky or anywhere that feels nice to you. Open up through the belly. Reach the arms. Look up. And then exhale and place the hands down onto the ground. Walk your back foot forward. Come into Uttanasana. Inhale through your nose. Halfway lift. Exhale and relax. Push off your feet. Rise up. Reaching the arms to the sky. Cactus open again. Big open chest. And then release the arms down. Sometimes when we breathe through our nose, we tend to have this desire to top off the top of the breath with just sucking a little more through the mouth. See if you can avoid doing that. See if you can just let the breath come in through the nose. Don't feel like you have to gulp more through the mouth at the end. Then release the breath. At any time you need to do some mouth breathing, it's okay. You can slow down your practice to stay committed to the breath. Inhale, reach the arms up. Exhale and fold forward. Step your left foot forward, your right foot back, coming into a lunge on this side, extending through the spine. The hip flexor on the back leg is opening. Finding the breath pace that's working for you. Drop the shoulders away from the ears. Let those accessory muscles of breathing go. Rise up when you're ready. Hand on your thigh. Reach the arm, a little bit of a side bend. So don't go so far over. Just getting some openness through the hip flexors and the psoas muscle in the front of that right thigh. Open your breaths. Drop your shoulders. How's your diaphragm feeling? How's the base of your skull? Can you relax your teeth? And then come back to center, both arms coming up or out or down, whatever is working for your body. Find the breath, open the chest. And then exhale and release the hands down. Step back to a plank. Hold steady here. You can always put your knees down on the floor if need be. Now, when we start to work hard in our core, we start to feel that exhales engage us. So see what it feels like to have the diaphragm have to work a little bit on the exhales. What would it feel like to hum here? Can you feel that a hum is different than a grunt? Relax your neck. Soften the base of your skull. All right, put your knees down onto the floor and find yourself coming down. Relax the shoulders. Let's do a couple of shoulder rolls just so we know where our shoulders are in space. Lift them up toward your ears, up toward the sky and back. And then switch directions. Go the other way. Just feel how mobile your shoulders are. And then bring them down. We don't want to pin them so much that nothing moves in our breath, but release the shoulders down. Take a deep breath in, come up to a cobra pose. Exhale and melt back down. Stabilize with your lower body. The legs are strong, the pelvis is strong. Find your way up on the inhale. Find your way down on the exhale. It does not matter how high up you go. Keep the elbows bent and drawn toward the rib cage. And then relax. Bring your hands out in front of you. Put your head on your forehead on your hands for a moment. And pay attention to how your diaphragm feels against the floor. Start to get to know the sensation of your diaphragm moving with your breath. Relax the base of your skull. All the muscles that like to breathe for you up there in your neck and shoulders, let them take a back seat. Breathing through the nose. What would it feel like to hum here? And your hum can be one pace. It can be a high tone, a middle tone, a low tone. It can change tones. Just find what's good for you, what works for you. So play around if you like to hum. And if we know that humming is good for us, hum while you're cooking dinner, hum while you're in the shower, hum while you're driving. You know, the things that you do where you feel comfortable, hum your favorite song. And let's go ahead and come back up onto your hands and your knees. And feel free to swirl around, moving, breathing. Chances are, if you've ever been around someone who hums, it's soothing. It stimulates your parasympathetic nervous system. Come up to dog pose. And so even if you're not, if you don't enjoy humming, notice if just being in the presence of someone who does enjoy humming entrains your nervous system to be in balance with theirs. If you like to be, think of mothers humming to their babies. There's something in training around being in that energy that is very soothing to our nervous system. So allow your breath to come in, feel the diaphragm expand. Notice how when you're in dog pose, the reversal of gravity is helping you fully exhale. The diaphragm can revert back toward the lungs very easily when we're inverting. Inhale, lift your right leg up in the air. Find your breath. Stack your right hip over your left and stretch from your ribs to your hip. Deep breath here, then square that hip again. Bring your foot forward, come into a lunge.
Find your place. You can take your time getting there. Rise up, bring the arms to the sky, wherever you want to be. Open up the chest, finding the breath. Place your back heel down on the ground. Lean forward, take your arms back for a moment. Virabhadrasana 1 with your arms drawn back. Feel the shoulders give way away from the ears. And then bring the arms up without hiking your shoulders too high toward the ears and come all the way up into Virabhadrasana 1. Tip your head back. You can interlace your fingers if you want. Open up through your chest. Stay rooted in the back heel. Feel your glutes turn on. Both heels press down. How's your breath now? Do you have a nice open chest? And then exhale and release your hands down to the floor. Back foot comes forward. Touch your toes. If you need a block between your thighs for a bridge pose, you can take a block. Not a bridge pose, a chair pose, you can take a block. Find your way into a chair. Arms go anywhere you want your hands to be. Draw your knees back into your hips. Relax the shoulders. Try to take away this urge to have our breathing be up in our necks. Drop the breathing down into your diaphragm. Breathe through your nose if you can. Gentle closure of your mouth. Smile just a bit. As the work starts to get harder, are you able to maintain breathing through your nose? You can either back away from the effort if you're having trouble, or just take a breath through your mouth to calm yourself down and try again. Okay, so know if it's just habituated patterning that you're rerouting, or if you really feel like you're lacking oxygen. Inhale, stand up straight and tall. Take a deep breath. Exhale and fold forward. Back to dog pose. Extend through the spine again. Enjoy the change of direction for your rib cage, your diaphragm. Inhale, lift the left leg up. Stack your hip over the right. Feel the openness through the ribs, through the side waist. Take a deep breath. Breathing through the nose. Exhale. Bring that leg back around. Swing your foot forward. Remember, you can always get there in lots of different ways. So if it's hard to swing your foot forward, you can come down onto your knees first and bring that foot forward that way. Adjust your stance so you have balance. Come up to Crescent Lunge again. Reach the arms up. And then we're going to plant the back heel down. Lean forward, bring your arms back. Palms are facing the floor. So invigorate the muscles between your shoulder blades. You want to have some activity there without creeping your shoulders up toward the ears. Take a deep breath. And then bring your arms forward. Maybe you tip your head back and the arms come up. Virabhadrasana 1. And you can stay leaning forward a little bit in this pose. If it's very compressive for your lumbar spine, lean forward a little bit so that you really get the side bodies to open, the breath to expand no matter where you end up in relation to the floor. Root both heels down. Keep breathing through your nose. Enjoy the open ribs. Finding breath. Relax the shoulders, the base of the skull. Exhale and release the hands back down onto the floor. Take your back foot forward, touch your toes, chair pose one more time. You can always put a block between your thighs. If your knees are unstable, this is a very good thing to help you stabilize. Draw the knees back toward the hips. Put your weight in your heels. Put your arms anywhere that gives you best breath. Find your inhales as you're challenging yourself in effort. Can you stay in the presence of your breathing through your nose? Do you want to hum? Stand up straight and tall. Open up across your chest. Cactus, open the arms and release your hands down on there your side. Find your breath. Open the chest. All right, we're going to step right out to the side. So turn to the side edge of your mat. Take your legs wide. Finding your breathing here. Turn your feet. Open up. We're going to move through some poses here. So I'm nursing a little bit of a shoulder issue, so I'm going to keep my hands to my heart. But you can either bring your arms up and down like this, or you can bring them in and out. Okay, so take a deep breath in. Exhale, arms come out. bend into Virabhadrasana. Inhale, arms over your head or back to center at your heart. Exhale, finding the breath pattern. So I'm talking, so I'm probably moving faster. My breath is probably moving faster than yours because I'm speaking. So find your pattern of your inhales and your exhales. All right, and then let's stay. So Virabhadrasana 2, Warrior 2. Put your arms anywhere you want them to be. Feel the roots of your feet. Yield. When you yield, drop your shoulders away from the ears and melt across the base of your skull. Try to release those habituated pattern of using those muscles for breathing, and instead open the rib cage up. Find the workhorse of your diaphragm. Hum the exhales to strengthen your diaphragm. Feel the breath swirling through the sinuses as you inhale. All right, let's go ahead and come on up and release your arms down. Turn your feet, same pose, second side. So remember, we're working through some movement. So as we exhale, we're going to come into Virabhadrasana 2. And as we inhale, either bring your hands back to your heart or your arms up overhead and find your way. Okay, so you decide, but let yourself move. Feel your body move with breath. Inhaling to bring yourself back toward the center with your hands, exhaling out. Are you able to stay breathing through your nose? How is it working for you? Are you struggling? You can always back away. So for instance, now let's stay in Virabhadrasana 2. And if the lunge, the deep lunge is a lot for you to stay in your breath, shallow up your lunge so you're a little higher and see if that helps you breathe a little bit better. So sometimes it's about working out, sometimes it's about working in. So we are giving ourselves deep health by breathing well. Sometimes that's a little more important than how much thigh burn are you getting, okay? So discover what you're able to stay with the breath. What body action are you able to sustain while breathing well? Relax the shoulders, melt the base of the skull, stay yielding and rooting through your feet. All right, let's go ahead and straighten up the leg. Turn your feet back to the front of your mat and come back. So these bread and butter poses we do all the time, Parsvakonasana, Virabhadrasana, we want to be able to sustain ourselves. So they're very endurance producing. So as we come into Parsvakonasana, let's not flomp onto our leg, be light, be open, take your arm up or out or down, whichever is good for your shoulders. Feel the roots of your feet. Expand open through your spine. How open can you get your ribs to feel? Are you letting the diaphragm be the prime mover of your breath? Are the muscles around your neck and the base of your skull relaxed? Are you able to breathe through your nose? How about the exhale? Can you exhale through your nose? Can you hum? Do you want to hum? Experiment with different tones. Different tonal variations of your humming will affect your diaphragm differently. Are you rooting through the feet? Can you feel the work in your glutes and your legs? Kind of rinse your body through. All right, and then come on up and let's turn and do the same pose on the second side. So turn your feet, find your breath, come down, and remember, you do not have to be far. This can be your Parsvakonasana where you're just bending a teeny bit in your knee instead of a deep lunge. So do what's working for your body. If this back hip wants to push forward, see what it feels like to draw it back. Open up through your spine, let the ribs expand. Can your diaphragm, does it have room to move? Are you allowing it to move? Find the arm where you want it to be. Relax the base of your skull and the muscles around your traps, your scalenes around your neck. Deep inhale, visualize the sinuses. Close your eyes if you can. Visualize those caverns. Take some nitric oxide into your body. Feel the roots of your feet yield down. Use the work of your legs. Get blood flow to all the little nooks and crannies. All right, let's come back up. Swing back to the front side of your mat and come into dog pose. Extending through the spine, relax your neck. Finding the breath here, hug toward the midline. With your hands, try to get some of the work in your torso instead of in your shoulders. Inhale, come forward into a plank. Hold steady here. Okay, feel the exhales. And then find your way down. Knees down first if you need to. Take your arms down at your sides. Either place your palms down on the floor next to your hips or interlace your hands behind your back, whichever feels good to you. Take a deep breath and lift up into Locust Pose. Do you want your legs together, a little apart, a lot apart? Feel your diaphragm. The back of the neck stays long. Deep breaths through your nose. Can you feel the diaphragm? Have a little push up on the floor. Invigorate. Sense what your diaphragm can do. It's this huge muscle in your body. It works from the moment you're born to the moment you die. Let's just enjoy it. Enjoy its effort. Enjoy its release. Enjoy its consistency. Have deep appreciation for your working diaphragm. And then relax. Put your hands down onto the ground. Lift up your feet. Put your head on your hands and drop your feet from one side to the other. Just loosening up your back. Still feeling the diaphragm. Still breathing through the nose. Okay, let's go ahead and come back. We're going to come onto our back now. Lie down. We're going to do some moving bridges. It's another great way to feel the diaphragm in its glory, right? So heels close into the pelvis. Inhale to lift the pelvis, arms come up over your head. And then exhale, arms down at your side, pelvis down to the ground. So notice if you have dominance, if one hip lifts faster or higher than the other, try to find some symmetry, root the feet. Inhaling, arms up. Exhaling, arms down. Are you still able to breathe through the nose? All right, and then let's stay down for a moment. Decide if you want to interlace your hands. I don't really recommend it, to be honest. I think bridge pose in some ways is a lot more effective if we don't interlace our hands underneath us. So the only time I would recommend interlacing your hands underneath you is if when you do that, you really are sure that you can stay externally rotated in the shoulder sockets. So if you feel like you roll inward, you internally rotate, unwind those arms, put them next to your hips instead. Palms are facing up and externally rotate the heads of the arm bones in the shoulder sockets. Open the chest. Be very mindful to loosen the neck. Do not push the neck into the floor. Have a gap under there. Feel the breath now moving through you. Notice the belly rise and fall. The feet are rooting. Breathing through your nose. Find symmetry through your sinuses as best as you can. What would it feel like to hum here on the exhales? Nose breathing on the inhale. Where is your tone? High, low, middle, changing? And then release the arms down or the pelvis down. Windshield wiper your knees, just release your back. Any tension that you felt, hopefully we're nice and open for heart bench. So we'll do some releasing from the back bends after heart bench. So if you're unfamiliar with heart bench, you want to take one block on its lowest height in between your shoulder blades and one block under your head a step higher at the middle height. You can either have the block long ways in between your shoulder blades like this or across your shoulder blades. If you're short, the across way, or if you're real tiny, the across way might feel more comfortable than the long way. So you just experiment with what's working best for your body. Okay, so as we come down, the block is in between our shoulder blades and you can experiment, move it around, move it toward the pelvis, move it toward the head, discover where the sweet spot for your body is. The block under your head is a notch higher, and then decide what you want to do with your limbs. Are your arms comfortable where they are? Do they need to be changed in any way? And then your feet can be flat on the floor. You can take Supta Baddha Konasana legs where the soles of your feet come together and the knees butterfly out. You can have your legs on the ground wide or close together. So experiment with all four of your limbs and where you want them to be. Okay. Once your limbs are happy and your spine is happy, then your focus is on melting the base of your skull. Try to train those accessory muscles of breathing to relax. Really, we should only be using those neck and shoulder muscles to breathe when we have to breathe hard and fast, like when we're running, okay? But right now you're not running. So just see what it feels like to bring the breath down into the powerhouse of your diaphragm. Visualize all the caverns in your sinuses picking up this beautiful nitric oxide. Dilating your lungs, protecting your lungs. Of course, we would have this natural built-in mechanism of protection in our lungs. Of course, our bodies are so smart, so intelligent. We are so beautifully designed. So let's marvel in such a subtle thing that a gas in our sinuses can protect us from viruses, can help us open our lungs. So let's return to our birthright of this protection by staying in the breath through our nose. Gently close your lips. Loosen your teeth, loosen your tongue. Melt the base of your skull over and over and let the shoulders relax. Feel the big echo chambers inside that fill with air in your sinuses and lungs. Feel how spacious and cavernous you are. Do you feel like humming or no? What can you melt? Is there any little nook and cranny in your lungs that you haven't discovered with your breath yet? Melt the neck. The last few breaths here and consciously melt. What can you surrender? Deeply let go. And then when you're ready to come out of park bench, roll over onto your side. Be very mindful that you're on a perch. So as you come over, be careful. Curl up on your side for a moment. Let your back relax. Still breathing through your nose. And then let's go ahead and find our way onto our back. Bring your knees to your chest and just rock left and right for a moment. Let's put our left foot down, right foot on top of left knee, reverse pigeon pose. If you prefer thigh over thigh, hip stretch, you can do that too. Just find some openness in your hips. Be still, be moving. Whatever feels good. Make sure you're relaxing your neck and your shoulders. Make sure you're breathing in and out through your nose. Maybe humming might feel nice now. Let's go ahead and release. Put 2 feet on the ground. Lift up your left foot, put it on top of your right knee and come into reverse pigeon on this side. Grab on behind your right thigh. The neck is soft and relaxed. Decide how are you in this pose? Do you want to bring your knee closer, further from your chest? Can you feel your sit bones widen? Is your spine growing? Are your neck and shoulders soft? How's breathing through your nose feeling now? What about a hum on the exhale? Do you want to? Do you not want to? Have you found a tonal variation that feels good for you yet? Let's go ahead and relax our legs back down onto the ground. Take your left leg straight on the floor. Bring your right knee into your chest. Give yourself a hug. Roll around your ankles. Just give some movement into your feet. And first, we're going to open up the right leg out to the right. Just feel a little stretch in your hip. And then we're going to take the right knee in the left hand and cross the leg over. So find your way into a twist and only go as far as your spine is content with. Extend the spine, move your right hip away from your shoulder, turn your head to the right. Notice the breath here. Twisting, open twists like this give a very unique, special way of breathing. So enjoy the nooks and crannies you're finding here. Breathing in and out through your nose as much as possible. And then inhale, bring that right knee back to the chest and then stretch it long on the floor. Starfish, open your body, all limbs out. Exhale, knees to your chest, chin up. Put your head down, left knee stays in, right leg stretches long on the floor. Extending the spine, first open up your left knee to the left. Stay rooted in your right hip. Breathe through your nose. And then as you're ready, cross the knee over to the right. Hold the left knee with the right hand. Open up the left arm, turn your head left. Big breath here. This is a very big twist, so do not feel like you need to come all the way to the floor with your knee. Just go where your spine says is a good place to be. Try to feel open in your ribs and your chest, and instead of just feeling like this is a spinal twist, let it be a unique chest opener for your breath. How's your neck? And then bring that knee back up. Stretch your leg long on the floor. Starfish your body. Deep breath here. Exhale all your air out. Chin up. Knees in. Relax your head. Come into happy baby pose. Hold your feet to let your back stretch a little bit. Feel free to rock. Breathing. And now find your way into Shavasana, however your body is in the mood to be. So you can be flat on the ground, you can be supported, you can be on your side. Just choose Shavasana that's working for your body. As you come into a restful state, even though our practice might have been a little bit gentle in the sense of the number of postures we've done or how vigorous, there's deep work that you have been doing with your breath. So think of it like working out on the inside, working in instead of working out. Learning to train the breath is one of the best things we can do. So as you melt now, see what it feels like to drop your body into the earth. Relax your neck. Melt through your shoulders. All those accessory muscles that we want to use to breathe, give them a rest. Let the belly be soft, rising and falling. And the breath is still moving in and out through your nose. Soften your teeth, your palates, your tongue. Relax your jaw and your skull. Melt the shoulders. Feel heavy in your limbs.
Let's begin to deepen our breathing through our nose again. It's okay if you want to have a big old sigh through your mouth. It's okay to breathe through your nose. Through your mouth, but let's just try to tip the scales toward the nose as much as possible. So begin to invite movement into the body. Maybe wiggling and stretching through the fingers, the toes. You can bring your knees into your chest. Give yourself a hug. And find your way onto your side. Eventually bringing yourself upright to a seated posture. Let's take a moment as we find a seat. One more time, just enjoy all the spaciousness inside your body as you breathe. Feel your sinuses, feel your lungs. Let's offer our practice, whatever merits you've gained, share with another. Namaste. Thank you, everyone.